Hello guys, this is our second day of our double angle properties. Let's start by proving on example 1. Here, as always, I pick the fraction, so I need to rewrite this as 2 tangent of x over 1 plus tangent squared of x. Note that I start by rewriting what I want to prove. And I set this equal to 1 plus tangent squared of x is the secant squared of x. So I will say 2 tangent of x over secant squared of x. Alright, from now I can just change the tangent into sine over cosine and the secant also into 1 over cosine. So this is equal to 2 times sine of x over cosine of x that I divide by 1 over the cosine squared of x. If I apply my copy change flip, I will have it equal to 2 sine x over cosine x times cosine squared of x over the sine of it, actually over 1 because I flipped this one. At this point, I'm able to simplify the cosine x and the 2. So all I have left is 2 times the sine of x times the cosine of x. And 2 cosine x is exactly the sine of 2x. Alright, let's look at example 2. Here I'm trying to prove that secant of 2x is equal to secant squared of x over 2 minus secant squared of x. Once again, I start by rewriting what I want, the side that I'm picking. So I'm saying secant squared of x over 2 minus secant squared of x. Well, at this point, I have more than one way to get to the secant of x. So I'll pick to transform everything in terms of cosine. So I will say 1 over the cosine squared of x that I'm dividing by 2 minus secant squared of x. You should know that. And here I will keep my 2 minus secant squared of x. You should understand that this is the same thing as 1 over cosine squared of x. Remember, this is square. 1 over cosine squared of x times 2 minus the secant squared of x. Now I will distribute the cosine on the bottom, and what I will get is 1 over cosine squared of x times 2 is 2 cosine squared of x, and cosine squared of x times secant squared of x is actually 1. And I have 2 cosine squared of x minus 1. Alright, out of the 2 cosine squared of x, I can transform one of the cosine squared of x in one of the cosine squared of x into sine squared of x. So this is equal to 1 over a single cosine squared of x, but the other cosine squared of x, I will write it as 1 minus the sine squared of x, and I still have a negative 1. So this is equal to 1 over this 1 and this negative 1 will go away. I will have cosine squared of x and minus sine squared of x. And if you look at your green paper, the cosine squared of x minus the sine squared of x is actually the cosine of 2x. So I have 1 over cosine 2x, and 1 over cosine 2x is exactly the secant of 2x. Alright, here's the last one. I have cosecant 2x is equal to tangent x cosecant squared of x over 2. So I will start again with the fraction. So I will say tangent of x cosecant squared of x over 2. And I will say this is equal to tangent of x is sine of x over cosine of x. Cosecant squared of x is actually equal to 1 over sine squared of x. And everything is divided by 2. So I can just put a 2 or 1/2 in front actually, because everything is over 2. So if I go ahead and multiply across, I will have sine of x on top, and on the bottom I will have cosine x sine squared of x, and of course the 2 in front. Now let's go ahead and simplify. All this sine x will go away with the power, So this is equal to 1 over 2 times the cosine x times the sine x. Looking again at your green paper, 2 cosine x sine x or 2 sine x cosine x is actually sine of 2x. And 1 over sine of 2x is your cosecant 2x. And we reach our destination.